First of all, it's good to see everybody. You know, for me, this is kind of like the unofficial start to the season. I've done some traveling in the last couple of days and had a chance to watch my son in Cooperstown and got inducted into the Indiana State Football Hall of Fame, and then had a chance to get around our guys a little bit today and watch them. You know, my staff has done a phenomenal job during this summertime, and I've been very appreciative of the job our players have done. They look like they're in great shape, been working extremely hard, excited to get going. But I'll be remiss if I didn't take a minute to, recognize Donna Turner. Her first year here was my last year as an assistant here, and so it's quite fitting that her last year here is I'm here as the head coach, and it's so interesting during the bowl game. I was having a casual conversation, and we were talking about how much college athletics has changed, and I said, how much longer are you going to do this? And she said, actually, this is going to be my last year. And I remember during that game, we were trying so hard to win that game, and all I can think about was, I hope we win this bowl game and I can give Donna that game ball. And, I was able to present her the game ball immediately after the game, and just want to thank you for all your contributions to NIU. You certainly made my job extremely easy over the last 6 years, so thank you for that. Certainly excited. It's just that time of year where every coach gets up here and talks about how excited they are about their football team. There's also that time of year where, most people know more about your team than you do. In this day and age of college football with so much movement, people don't know what we have on our football team. They don't know the toughness, the pride, the discipline, the focus, the work ethic, and the type of kids and character we have. And I couldn't be more excited about this team. These guys have worked tremendously hard since January. They put a lot of work into being as good as we can be, and I'm excited to watch them continue to grow over the next 6 months. Two things we talk about as a program. 2 of our 5 fights, we talk about complacency and entitlement, and those are 2 things that I don't see on this team. I see a group that's hungry. I see a group that's competitive. I see a group that are connected. And to me, I think that gives you a chance in this modern day of college football because it has become more about me and less about the team. And we talk about being a team. And our motto this year is to hunt for one. We want to hunt together as a pack. And I think that's what these guys have been showing me, and that's what they've been doing. I want to also talk about my coaching staff. We've had, some guys have opportunities to leave last year, and I'm always happy when coaches have an opportunity to leave, but that also gives me an opportunity to improve our staff. And I couldn't be more pleased with the coaches that we've been able to add, how they come in and build great relationships with our players, the camaraderie, the back and forth. These guys, our coaches, have a great pulse of the team. They know how to, push the right buttons to motivate them, to get them going in the right direction. And they really made my job a lot easier. Now I can just be the good guy now. There were times I had to be the bad cop a lot of times. But now I can be the good cop and put my arm around the guys because my coaches are doing a tremendous job of building those relationships and getting guys to understand that, once the season comes and we in the struggle and the adversity, our relationships are going to last that much longer. I want to introduce the guys we got here today. We brought 6 guys with us. I want to start off with Jake Applegate, a tight end for us. This morning he just broke the power clean record. He could not wait to let me know he broke Brock Lampe's record this morning, and I was excited to see him do that. But Jake is a tight end for us. Been with us a couple years, and when I look at our team, he's one of the most important guys for us on offense for what he can do in the passing game and what he can do in our run game. And we got to keep him healthy. We feel like he's going to be a big piece of how we want to build our offense this season. Offensive lineman, Harry Caray. AC. I don't call him by his first name too often. But AC is a young man that has grown tremendously as a leader in our program. Is awesome to see. Was a walk-on, has developed. He's going to be an anchor for us up front, and a guy that we really going to lean on for big contributions in our program. You know what? The thing that's so interesting, and I didn't plan this way, but there's a couple guys that were walk-ons in our program. The next guy, Muhammad Jameh, another guy that walked on from Detroit, a guy that played a lot of football for us, wound up playing 90% of the snaps in our MAC championship game in 2021, knows what it takes. I feel like this guy is going to be one of the best safeties in our conference. He's got to stay with it through the ups and downs. He's going to have a big year for us and a big part of our defense and making sure that the back end of our defense plays the way that we know how to play. Next guy I want to introduce is Dane Partridge, another guy that walked on in our program. You know, our walk-ons have been some of our best players, and that's just, you know, they got an edge, they got a chip on their shoulder, and I take a lot of pride in adding guys that have that type of edge and chip. And Dane is a guy. Dad was a tremendous player here, but Dane has come here and made his own mark, made his own name, and I think that was important for him to do. And he's a guy that has been our punt returner the last couple of years, have made a lot of big plays for us as a receiver, and we expect him to make a lot of plays this season. Next guy, also a former walk-on, Quinn Erweiler. You know, interesting story about Quinn. You know, when he first stepped into the team meeting room, he said, hey, I'm going to be the hardest working, most physical guy every single day. And that's what he's done in our program. Quinn has been a tremendous player for us on special teams and at the linebacker position. He's going to be the man in the middle for us. He's going to call the defense, and the guy that we're going to rely on heavily this season to be the type of playmaker we need at the second level. The last guy I want to introduce, and he needs no introduction outside of, he doesn't talk very much, Roy Williams. Roy is a guy from Shepherd High School, you know, very interesting young man. He can sing. He's very articulate, but when he gets on the field, he has a switch. I'm starting to get a lot more calls from NFL personnel people on Roy Williams over the last week or two because they see his potential and what he can do. And I think the sky's the limit for what he's going to do for us this season. You know, I think, you know, for us, you know, when I look at our team, a good place to start, you know, in the foundation of our team, it starts up front. And that's how we build our team, inside out. But in order to build a team inside out, it takes great work from your strength staff. So I want to take a minute to recognize Junie Barnett and his staff. They do a phenomenal job helping develop our kids mentally and physically, athletically, and they get our guys in a position where they can go out there and play at an extremely high level for a long time. And so Junie has been with me my whole time. He's helped build a foundation of our program and done a great job of the sort. You know, I think, you know, in the summer, you know, we're in our summer program right now. We try to balance the grind and having fun. I think that's, you know, you don't want to make football boring, and I think that's always my challenge. But as far as what you can expect from us this year, I think, you know, we built a team this year that's going to play a better brand of complementary football. You know, I've been a head coach, this will be my 7th season, so I have 6 other teams to compare to. And this team has checked a lot of boxes along the way. And I think this team, in my opinion, gives us the best chance to play the best brand of complementary football since we've been here. In 2021, we won a championship with a team that was really, you know, mostly offensive driven. Last year, we were more defensive driven. Okay, this team right here, we're going to have great balance. Offense, defense, and special teams are going to be a weapon for us. So it gives me great excitement, you know, thinking about all the different ways that we can play the game of football and find ways to win. Because the most important thing is to score one more point than your opponent. So when I look at us offensively, I really want our offense to be like my outfit. I want it to be in your face and loud and obnoxious. You know, we want to score a lot of points, and so I've been very excited with what Coach Sanders and his staff has done offensively, adding nice pieces and nuances to the offense, making sure we're putting guys in position to be successful. But it starts up front, and I think Coach Meadows is doing a nice job developing our offensive linemen. That was really the one concern that I had as far as our offense was concerned. But what I've seen over the last couple months is our offensive line take a tremendous step forward from leadership standpoint, from a depth standpoint, from an experience standpoint. Guys are really working at it to put themselves in position to be dominant up front, and I couldn't be more excited about that group. Quarterback position, I feel like that group is in great shape in the short term and the long term. And I think Coach Sanders has really done a great job developing that group. Those guys have really improved top to bottom all throughout. I feel like we have more depth. We have more guys that can make contributions. And I think that group is going to really allow us to be the type of offense we want to be. At the running back position, I think we'll have one of the better groups in the country. I think that group is, you know, we can go 5 or 6 deep. You know, you got to earn your keep on our team at the running back position. And I really feel like those guys are going to give us an edge as far as our ability to run the football. Tight ends, they make our offense go. Obviously, I talked about Jake. We got to find some more guys that can step up in a big way along with Jake to give us the type of offense and the versatility that we need. To me, our wide receiver group is the most improved position on our football team. I think our 1 through 6 are all guys that can be number 1 tight wide receivers. We really was able to attack the depth and the talent at that position, and those guys have really stepped up. So offensively, we feel like we got a lot of weapons, a lot of guys with skill, a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things, and it's our job as coaches to make sure we can maximize their ability. And I think Coach Sanders and his staff are doing a tremendous job every day, looking for different ways to get different guys involved to make us unpredictable. You know, obviously, you know, we've been a running team, but, you know, moving forward, I see us being a lot more balanced in the running game and the passing game and being able to exploit whatever defense is giving us. Defensively, you know, Coach Harley, our defensive coordinator, has done a nice job building the camaraderie on that side of the ball. You know, he's come in and, you know, has built great chemistry with our defensive players, with the defensive staff. You know, when you add a bunch of new coaches and obviously you add some players as well, some of those things take time. But they got together very, very quickly on that side of the ball. And, you know, for us, our recipe on defense, we have to be good up front. We got to be good on the defensive line. And I feel like our line, we really was able to reload and restock the defensive line in a position where those guys can be very, very disruptive. Let's start with Williams and Williams on the edge. Those two guys give us the type of players that we feel like can hold a point of attack. And we have some really, really good players inside. And so with all those guys up front, those allow our linebackers to read and react and to make plays that's going to allow us to stop the run and obviously put people in a lot of predictable situations. Linebackers, we feel like we got 6 guys at the linebacker position that can play and help us win. Coach Conley, our linebackers coach, has come in and done a phenomenal job with that group and building the depth and chemistry with that group, and feel like we got guys that if they're not the starting linebacker, they're going to help us on special teams. And then lastly, the secondary. I think for us, the last 2 years, we finished in the top 10 of the country in passing yards allowed. This year, I see no different. The only thing that could be different is we scoring more points on offense, and people have to play a different style of game and throw the ball a lot more. So that would be the only case that would be different. But we feel like we got depth and talent on the back end of our defense, and feel like defensively, you know, we put a major emphasis on taking the ball away. You know, that was probably an Achilles heel for us last year. We didn't take the ball away quite as much. They put a major emphasis on that in the spring, and got a lot of positive results. So, and then the third phase of the game, special teams, and this is really the phase of the game where I feel like, you know, it's going to give us an edge. And Coach Conley is our special teams coordinator. We were able to add a tremendous kicker in Andrew Glass. We got tremendous talent and athletic ability with some of the core guys that's going to be on those units, and I feel like that unit is going to make a big difference in our football team. So this is going to be an exciting year. We open up camp July 30th. I can't wait. We're going to give our kids a couple days off to rest and recover, and then we're going to hit the ground running. So we get 25 opportunities to get ourselves ready to practice, ready to play before Holy Cross. And I feel like we have the ingredients to be, one of the top teams in this conference, and we'll be excited to play. I'll take questions.
Coach, so many starters from last year. Normally, this day and age, you see teams will go to the portal, build up that way. You guys did use the portal, but so many players are coming up from high. I know most of the guys back here weren't starters last year. They're projected for big minutes. Just what's the advantage going down that road for you guys that you see?
Well, first of all, we do a great job evaluating talent, and we do a great job developing talent. And so we have really, really good young players in our program. And one thing about players, they can care less if somebody leaves. They can care less if somebody graduates. Matter of fact, they hope you leave and they hope you graduate because that gives them an opportunity to play. And what you're going to see is we got guys in our program that's going to be better than guys that played last year. And that's a fact. And so, I have no stress as far as, we lost such and such. I'm like, yeah, we may have lost that guy, but this guy is better. And so now they just got to go out there and improve it. And so I'm excited about the group that we have. And then when I look at the portal, it's really to supplement from a depth standpoint. We lost a lot of guys that graduated. We had 30 seniors, so that's a lot of guys with experience. But we got a lot of guys with talent coming back. So we look to the portal to supplement from a depth standpoint and a competitive standpoint. And I love the way that it all came together. And so it was a two-part process for us. We're always going to recruit high school student athletes first. So we're going to overload with high school student athletes and build a foundation of our team. And then we will supplement with the transfer portal. And the one thing about the kids that we added in the transfer portal, number one, they are great character young men. Number two, they came into our program, they learned from the guys that were in the program, and then they've carried that tradition on. It only takes one bad apple to ruin a bunch. And we haven't had no issues whatsoever, and that's unique and rare in college football. And culture is hard to build and easy to tear down, and our culture is unbelievably strong. The guys back there have done a great job, and the guys that have come in have done a great job learning. And even the incoming freshmen have come in and learned and grow. You would think they've been here for 2 years, and I think that's a testament to the young men in our program and the job that they do.
Coach, you've talked about how walk-ons have been some of your best players, and now with this house sentiment, with the roster changes and the scholarship changes, how does that affect how you build this team and future teams?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Obviously, we made the most bang for our buck on roster spots 106 to 118. And so that's going to greatly impact us, a program like us, because, the guys that play, right, other schools call them and try to get them. And so those guys were the guys that we said, okay, these are the guys that step up and become the next great player in our program, because it may have taken them 6 months or a year longer. And so that's going to be a tremendous disadvantage for us. Now our job is to find ways to overcome that, not to make excuses or complain, but to find creative ways to overcome that. And we've done some different things. From a development standpoint, we split practices up in training camp to make sure we are developing our younger players, to give them an opportunity to play faster. When we get in the season, we'll take days and make sure those guys get reps and not just go to the scout team, because it's important that you may not need a guy week 1, but in week 8, he may be valuable for you. And if you look at our bowl game last year, we had some guys decide not to play in a bowl game, but we also had some guys play in a bowl game that didn't play all season. Romello Ware, LaDon Bryant. We had young guys that were ready to play and ready for the opportunity because of the way we developed them throughout the year. So we will continue to find creative ways to develop our younger players, to give them an opportunity to be ready when their number is called.
Last year in the MAC, what would it mean to finish on top?
I mean, it would mean everything. I think, we wanted a program to have, some of the most MAC championships. And we definitely want to win one this season. Every year you are just guaranteed one opportunity to be a champion. And so that's what I talk to our players about. I feel like we got the talent and the team to do it. We got the competitiveness to do it. We have the physicality to do it. The challenge is going to be, how do you handle adversity, right? Everything is not going to go our way this season. Something is going to happen that we were not prepared for, and we have to be able to respond and bounce back and handle it the right way. And the better that we can do that, the better chance we have of being a champion at the end of the year. But everything I've seen so far from January to now gives me great confidence in this football team. Well, I think the big thing for me is, when I see how teams are starting to build rosters and teams, when you think about it from a transactional standpoint, money can't buy you heart. Money can't buy you toughness. Money can't buy you physicality. Money can't buy you togetherness. Money can't buy you a team. And so for us, we build ourselves on being a team, being a group of brothers that's going to do everything possible for one another. And that's how you win. It's still a game of getting, 100 guys all together on the same page. It's not about who pays the guys the most money. That's a fact. And so we are constantly trying to build relationships and build that connectivity. That's important, that when something doesn't go right in the game, okay, listen, it's okay, shake it off, come back the next play. Whereas you're going to see teams, if it doesn't go right, they're going to implode, right? Because you had all these expectations, and as soon as one thing don't go your way, right, you don't know how to respond. So we want to build that mental toughness to understand that no matter what happens, hey, we all in this together. When we lose a game, the first thing I tell the players when we get back on Monday, hey, you guys didn't lose the game. I'm responsible for the loss. And I said, I tell them that all the time. I take full responsibility for every loss that we had. And when we win, it's because of the players. And so you want to take all that pressure off of them and allow them to play free, have fun, and play as hard as they can play.
Tom, you've been part of some big wins. I'm just curious, with the Notre Dame game being such a big deal nationally, has there been any residual effects of that game just for you or for your program since then?
Yeah, if I had $1 for every person that said they was at the game, I think we'll have $1 million in our NIL. So I would be able to pay my players a lot more. But we understand there was only 80,000 people at the game that day. But that was a tremendous showcase for our program. Our players played their tail off that day. And it goes to show, when a team believes, anything can happen. And that's why you suit up every week because anything can happen. And so obviously there's still a lot of excitement about that game, but what we talk about is we gotta win that, expect to win that game, and then obviously keep stacking every week after that.
But that opportunity, the NIU brand being as big as it is right now nationally, Thomas, an opportunity in the non-conference to take on SEC and Big Ten opponents, how can that expand the brand more?
No, I mean, I think we have a great non-conference schedule. obviously opening up with a Holy Cross. We know that that's a proud program. You know, we certainly can't overlook them. We've broken down our first 4 opponents and know exactly what they look like and how they operate. We got to take it one game at a time. And that's the biggest thing I'm going to tell my players. One game at a time. Holy Cross is our full focus. Then we come back and play Maryland on a short week. And then obviously we got a bye week, then Mississippi State, then San Diego State. So we got a great opportunity to figure out early who we are and what we're about and play the type of football we need to play to put ourselves in position to win.
Coach, what does it mean to have, in this last season, the MAC, we get one less shot to leave your rivals for one unofficial to get to play them one more time for you?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, the thing that's so interesting is I think all the teams that's projected to be high in the MAC this year, we play. Well, I think that's fantastic. They have to play us, and I'm not trying to be arrogant in that sense, but everybody knows the MAC is a one-possession league, right? So it's a one-possession game. You know, last year Toledo was a 13-7 game, and so I've seen a lot of people say that they're supposed to be the best team in the MAC. Okay, good. Ohio, I think we beat them the last 2 times we played them. Good. We played Miami of Ohio. So, you know, we're not going to be afraid to play anybody. We just have to play our best football on that particular day. We can't turn the ball over on offense. We got to play sound on special teams, and we got to tackle well on defense. But we're going to have an opportunity to play great every time we play if we do the things necessary to give ourselves a chance to win. So, all those teams that's projected right now to be at the top of the MAC, we play them, which is great. You know, I did a MAC preseason projection the other day. I turned it in, and the one thing I realized, I have no idea what any other team has. Not one idea. So I was filling it out with no idea of what anybody else has because it doesn't matter, right? Nor do they understand what we have. We got a good football team, and it's our job to go out there and start stacking days when training camps start to be the best team we can be.
You mentioned the poll. I saw you tweeted a couple of weeks ago. One of the leagues decided to stop doing a preseason poll.
Yeah.
You seemed in favor. Did you push for that?
No, I didn't push for that, but when you're looking at teams and they got 50 new guys on the team or 60 new guys on the team, how do you know who's good and who's not good, right? This is not the old school mentality of college football where you guys are staying 4 years and you know, okay, these have been productive players in the program. You know, you're talking roster, you know, transition of 50%. You don't know what that looks like. You don't know the DNA of the players. You don't know the toughness, the mentality, the buy-in, all of the culture. There's a lot of factors involved in building a team. So how can you predict who's going to be good, right? So let the first 4 weeks play out and then figure out who's playing well at that point. So, but like I said, I filled out a poll, and basically I just put the two teams that was in the championship game last year at the top 2 because you can't vote for your own team. So I said, okay, those 2 teams, and then put them in order. So I don't know what anybody else have. All I know is we have a team that's good enough to compete every single week. Now we just got to go out there and put the work in.
Coach, you've talked about how this running back unit could be one of the best in the country.
Yes.
I know back in spring you said there were 3 guys who made big contributions.
Now there's 5.
Now there's 5.
Yes.
I know right after spring you added Siobhan right from Trust.
Yes.
Really good V2 rusher. Just how does he complement the guys you have right now?
Yeah, anytime you can add somebody that has 5,000 career yards in his career, I think that makes you better. And so, you know, we got to get them in better shape. First of all, they don't work out in Division II in the summer, so we got to get them in better shape. But when I watch him move and I watch the way he, you know, can you know, cut and do different things at the running back position, he's got he may be 5'5". He's got a low center of gravity. He's very stocky. I think that's going to translate for our football team. So I don't care what level, and I think it's important to understand. I think people get misconstrued that a power forward player is so much better than everybody else. It doesn't matter what level you play at. An athlete is an athlete, okay? We just had Aiden Tweedy power clean 350 pounds today. He came from Division II. You know, one of our better young safeties was a Division II player. It doesn't matter, right? People develop at different stages. They grow, have growth spurts, and get better. Our motto is to take production over potential, and so I think we add a lot of production in our program.
Yep. So, Coach, I know last season you did the rotating captains with all the seniors you have on the team. Is that something you want to continue this season?
You know what? I haven't really thought about that, to be honest with you. I think we have some guys in our program right now that has really stepped up. You know, the hard thing is, I think leaders develop at different times. But we have some guys that have truly stepped up as true alphas where I don't see that changing, right? From one week to the next, from one good game to a bad game, you are who you are. And it's two of them back, three of them actually, in here today that are, hey, this is who I am and this is what I'm about, week in and week out. And so I haven't got that far as far as captains is concerned, but the biggest thing about captains is no matter the situation or the circumstance, you have to be the same person. Whether you're the starting linebacker or the third string linebacker, you should be the same person every single week. And I think we got some guys that have established themselves that this is who they are and this is what they are about. And I think, to me, that's the best examples of leadership.
And then I know you recently appointed a Braden Patton as your new hands coach.
Yes.
What's it been like having him back in the program, and how has he kind of adjusted to being back in the coaching role?
Yeah, Braden, he comes from a coaching family. When we brought him back, he just put his head down and worked. We put him on the road recruiting because we were down some coaches, and every night he would send me emails about who he saw, what guys he liked. We went through spring ball, and I watched him grow and develop, and how he coached and how he interacted with the players. He has a great understanding of the hard way, what this program is, what it's about. And to me, it was such an easy decision. We had a tight end position that was open, and I'm watching him, and I'm thinking to myself, I can hire somebody from outside, but I have the most information on him. And he's a guy that I think eventually will grow and develop into an offensive line coach. But what a great opportunity for him to develop his coaching acumen and philosophy at the tight end position. I think he's doing a great job with those guys, and I'm excited about his future.
We want to bring the guys up and
Yeah.